how we enter a new year, not chase it, especially 2026. Welcome back to the Finer Things, darlings. For those of you who are new, this is where we elevate every detail of life with elegance, wit, and just a sprinkle of high society mischief, and I like to say also a little bit of pixie dust and sense of humor. That's very, very important for everything we do in life. Everything here also is inspired by the finer code. I don't know if I'm putting here or here, but my philosophy where old war manners meet modern glam, and it's not about perfection. It's never about perfection. It's about presence, poise, and again, a little sparkle. And I wrote a book, 783 pages, I think. And if you want to read it, it's up to grab. It's available on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Nobles, literally everywhere. And of course, the links are going to be in the description. Now, today's food for thoughts, I would say, because it's not a lesson, it's just a topic, it's just a chat. But it's a particularly good one and very fitting for this time of the year. There's a truth about New Year's resolutions that rarely gets said, and today I'm going to tell you with a frankness that might surprise you, but if you know me, you know that I am happily, brutally honest, because sometimes it's nice to have that friend that says that you have spinach in your teeth. So I am the kind of friend, but I do that nicely and not in front of other people. The problem isn't that people want to change, because change itself is beautiful. It's human, it's necessary. I keep changing my life all the time, basically every year. Sometimes I change where I live, I change my hair, I change my makeup, I change the perspective I have. I've told you about my changes in this video. But the problem is how these people go about it and how you go about it. With all the grace of someone sometimes sprinting down the sidewalk while the train has already left the station, like whistle doors closed, destiny gone, like we arrived, but we are already late. Every single year, without fail, I watch the same spectacle unfold. Sometimes I've been part of this as well. So women wake up in a state of like operational panic. Okay, this year it was January 5th because we all were home for 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th, but usually January 1st. So eyes still blurry, maybe from too little sleep, or probably interrupted by midnight toast with champagne that tasted surprisingly, I don't know, maybe suspiciously like regret. And here, just the point, don't drink champagne that is cheap. Drink the good champagne, because the other one is giving you a headache. Mon Dieu. Anyway, so we try to start elevating ourselves from what we drink. We drink less, but we drink better. But this is another story, and I am digressing. So let's back to the point. Before coffee, before washing their faces, just barely awake, they are looking at their phones. And what are they saying? You tell me, because you know that. I know you are doing it too. They are already downloading apps. If you hear some noises, it's my dogs, because they're going back and forth. Lida, you want to come here? Yeah, look. No. She's shy. But maybe she will come later. She's destroying in the meanwhile the library. She's pushing down pillows and everything. So we were saying, they download most of the time, look, she is here, apps, because apps now are our best friends, right? They're telling us how to do, what to do, or they're talking with ChatGPT or other applications or other artificial intelligence applications. But also we have diet apps promising miracles in 14 days, or maybe drugs, because also some apps are giving you drugs. You have to be very careful about those. Fitness app designed for sort of Marines in basic training, like those kind of courses that are scary. Meditation apps, these are the worst, that passively aggressively remind you how badly you are feeling at being calm. I'm not a calm person. I cannot meditate. Okay, that's not my way of being calm. So these are not the ones that are making you come better. And also, when you decide that you're going to follow one of these paths, most of the time is we have to say to everybody. We have just to declare it to the world. So you post on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you go. This year, I'm going to be completely new person, new body, new mind, new life, new companion, new partner, who's with me? And underneath, maybe there is a chorus of likes and encouragement, people just chipping in and saying their opinions and saying they're doing the same. But listen carefully, because by February, the gym membership is already a sort of confused bank notification, but it's expensive and you sign up for 12 months. By March, the whole thing maybe has faded like a dream or a nightmare after too much cheese. In my case, it can be cheese. And then there's her, though, this fantastic lady that we said, there's one of us that knows how to do things. The woman who wakes up as always. Yes, as always, the same routine, because she knows it works, because it belongs to her, because she has done this already previously. And perhaps, I do mean perhaps, she adjusts one tiny detail. So small, no one else maybe would notice. But when December arrives, her life has generally changed. Not theatrically, not loudly, but substantially. The difference isn't willpower. The difference is more subtle, is how she decided to go with it, how she decided to go with the change. She chose a more intelligent way to do it. She chose a more sustainable. I think sustainable and sustainability is the key word for this video, to do it. So we don't fail because we lack discipline. I know that we are, especially as women, now in 2026, we can multitask. We can do so many things. So you don't have to put that on us and the fact that no, we are not able to follow a path or continue doing things day by day, the same discipline or the same routine. But we fail because we never gave ourselves a reason compelling enough to care once the novelty wears off. This is a very important concept. We are more enthusiastic when something new happens, but we need to find a way to keep it going and to keep going even when this novelty is not a novelty anymore, when it's an old story of yesterday. Find your vintage dress. Here's what everyone, or almost everyone, misses. You need a why. You need a reason. Not a vague aspiration scribbled at midnight. Maybe you don't even forget after too many drinks. No, you need a reason, a real one, tangible, desirable, something that makes the effort not just sensible, but in a sort of way inevitable. So you really have to be committed because you find a good reason to do it. And let me give you a personal example, because abstractions, I think, is the enemy of action. And so I want you to reason like I'm doing for myself, just to give you an example, so you can do then your own reasoning and you can get to where you want to be. So right now I'm working on losing weight. I've always been a 00 or a 0. Now I'm a 4-ish. I've been a 6. I'm now a 4. But I would like to be at least a solid 2. Just, it's not said that the doctor told me to or an influencer told me to. It's just how I feel in my body. But I also found another reason that is making me happier than just thinking about a number. I am very much into vintage antiques, thrifting this year. I will explain also the reason why. Something is because I have the Aristocrats project going on, which we're going to talk about, and it's linked to Downton Abbey. So I'm very much more into antiques. I'm very much more into and I'm anti-consumerism. And maybe I was in a whirlwind of consumerism too, especially being a content creator, but now I'm out of it. So I want to fit into some vintage clothes from the 40s, 50s, 60s. And someone said, oh, got them even before you got there. Me. So I have some in my closet that I cannot fit in. And those marvels were made for people who are much smaller than we are right now. Because let's be honest, probably they live on cigarettes and black coffee, no sugar, obviously. When there was the war too. So unfortunately, they didn't have so much as we have now, but they didn't have junk food. Sometimes they were having an olive if they were feeling like daring, and martinis, because I think that in the 1950s, there was always a martini somewhere in those lives. I mean, also these bars stocked. And every time someone was coming in, they were offering them a drink. Anyway, these dresses, 2 of them are already there, but I have some more. And I write down auctions and lists and notes. So I want extraordinary pieces. And I want to think about, I don't know, silk that slides through your fingers like cool water, or taffeta. I love taffeta because it rustles when you move, that sound that announces your presence before you speak. I'm talking about museum quality craftsmanship because there's also some vintage stuff that is not worth it. But some of what is still alive now, because it was great quality then, is great quality now. So now the task is mine. I have to fit into them without breaking seams that are nearly 8 years old and deserve respect. So that's my reason. That's my why. So lose weight, as you can see, is abstract and not vaguely depressing. It's terribly depressing. Being on a diet is one of the worst things. Even when you're not hungry, just because you know you're on a diet, then you become more hungry. I mean, it's just something that happens in our brains. But sleep into champagne-colored 1950s evening gown and feel like the fabric settles perfectly. That's worth showing up for. That's worth eating less. So one is deprivation imposed from outside. The other is desire, cultivating from within. So you understand the difference. And desire, as elegant women know very well, lasts for longer than guilt. It's a true force. So the real question is, why should I change? And what is the real reason? It's what do I truly want, and why does it matter to me? So this is going to put everything else into different perspectives. So do this little exercise and let me know what you think. Once you have your why, the next question is how? And this is where most resolutions collapse. So we already said we need a reason, okay, but now we have to find a method, a way to make this happen. So usually people choose the most miserable method possible, as if suffering were proof of virtue. Like when I have to say, I had to have surgery on my nose the first time because it was not straight, so I couldn't breathe well. And I was doing scuba diving, so I had to have a proper nose, working nose. Second time, it was because the first time didn't come out right. So when I was there suffering, I was in Beirut, Lebanon. I was thinking, okay, I'm suffering, but for a great cause. Okay, but we don't have to go through this all the time. If you want to read more, don't put yourself through Aristotle at 6 a.m, but create an environment that makes reading irresistible. A warm light, a proper chair, a cashmere throw, a ritual. This is a library, light or not, that works. It's called the electrician tomorrow. But we have a fireplace, we have our quiet time here, so we can really read. If you want to move your body, find what feels good. And this is on me, because I do have even a gym upstairs, and I don't use it as much as I should. But we should walk, swim, dance in the kitchen, something. If you know classes that make you cry, though, in locker rooms. Real change happens quietly. So for me, the classes are not working. The Pilates is not working. For me, it's working that maybe I go out with the podcast and I'm walking, next to the ocean here in New England. For you, it might be something different. So find a way and find a pleasurable way to reach your goal. You have to think the real change happens quietly, consistently, in service of something that excites you every day and therefore puts you out there. So how do we enter a new year? Let's recap. We don't chase it, we don't announce it, we don't perform it, and we choose one thing, at most 2. We don't choose 7 things. We don't need to change 7 things each year at a time. We can work on 1 at a time or 2. We can multitask, but again, if we want to do things properly, we cannot put ourselves with incredible goals that probably are so incredible we will never reach them. And then we find our real motivation and we keep it private, because if we have just ourselves to talk about this too, okay, maybe it's not working grammatically, but you get it. If you are the only one that is responsible to tell yourself that you have to do this, It's much better than if you put yourself out there on a stage and then have a crowd of people that don't care about you telling you, oh, how is it going? Oh, how are you doing? No, it's a private thing. And while others burn out by spring, we're still there in December with this way, steady, composed, quietly transformed. And that's elegance, and that's intelligence, and that's removing a weight from your shoulders. So sometimes silence is gold. Now sit down with something you actually enjoy drinking. You all know that for me it's champagne, but it can also be a fantastic flavored tea, like flavor rose tea. I love it. Ask yourself what you want to refine. Choose something manageable. Find your reason. Design a method you want to return to. Begin quietly, then do it. And when I'm saying do it, that there's no more going back. Okay, I've been generous so far, giving you the time to choose what, and giving you the time to choose a reason, and giving you the time to choose a method. But once you are engaged, then you have to do it daily, weekly, monthly, with the same calm discipline you used to make your bed, maybe with perfect corners. I hope for you that you're not just sloppy bed maker, or answer correspondence promptly. And for correspondence, I mean the emails that don't stay there for days without being properly answered, because I have my phone all the time with me, and I have a thing for which especially the most important emails are answered within the hour. So we don't chase time, but we welcome it, because we have 1 year ahead of us. It's a long time. And also, when we'll be here in December 2026, next to 2027, having become quietly and beautifully more ourselves, we will be extremely accomplished. So this will be the greatest gift you can give to yourself in December. And also remember, if you're not there 100%, no one says that this cannot be carried on 2027. So relax. Until next time, darlings, stay fabulous and chic. And again, look for me everywhere else. And don't forget my book. My book is a manual, 783 pages, but you don't need to read top to bottom. You can also pick the chapters according to what you want to do. But it's going to be your companion to live a more elegant life, a more refined life, but especially a more serene life. So it's quiet living with modern glam. So don't miss it. Until next time, stay fabulous and chic again.